IDF exclamation mark. He's literally written exclamation mark here. I like
Exclamation
it.
mark. Yeah.
It's very meta. Are Nvidia GPUs going to become even worse value in future? With gaming GPUs competing with far more lucrative products for limited production capacity, I fear that they simply don't need the gaming market, and innovation in the space will slow massively. Lack of competition from AMD also reduces their incentive to push things on. Interesting question, this one, Alex, from Mad Monk here, because there was a rumor going around that the 4090 Ti, which does seem to have been a thing because we've now seen the cooler for it and it's gigantic, that has been canned, and the implication there is that those high-end Nvidia chips can just be achieve much higher margin for Nvidia in the burgeoning AI market. Now, on the one hand, I don't really think there was much need for the 3090 Ti back in the day. It was like 10% faster than the 3090 and it cost $2,000. So I can't say I'm mourning the mooted departure of a 4090 Ti. But I think Mad Monk's got other things on his mind here. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it seems more like a reference for the next generation of GPUs here from Nvidia, because we've got most of that 4000 series out. I think it's just like 4050 is left. Am I wrong there?
I don't think
Desktop
there's going to be a
4050?
4050. It might be an OEM job,
And
but
maybe,
I'm
yeah.
hearing nothing about it.
Yeah, but we've got that stack out, and as we talked about earlier with the AMD RDNA 4 thing, that we've got like that 4070, which is okay, and then we've got the 4090, which, say what you will, it's price performance is surprisingly okay for being so expensive. But then the rest of the stack is just where we just scratch our heads usually. And seeing that get worse over the next generation due to a lack of competition is kind of a very real danger. But it's I almost want to say, I think, well, maybe don't be so worried about it just now, because one, we got at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years until we get those cards. Maybe it's just a year actually now. How long has RTX 4090 been out? Almost a year already? My goodness. So maybe I actually don't have that much time, but I don't think we have to worry about it in the meantime, because Nvidia in the past hasn't been one to, at least on the software side of things, be stagnant, which we also talked about earlier. So I think even if they bring out new GPUs, they will try and value incentivize it in some other way above the previous generation. They tried that with the RTX 4060, with them talking a lot about DLSS 3, which is admittedly really great. But they tried to use that as a kind of like, I don't know, like a way to counterpoint the fact that it's VRAM limited versus the 3060. And I think if they do bring out a new generation, it can't get like worse. I don't think they're going to try that again, but I think it could actually just be software better than the previous generation with light hardware benefits, like in terms of the same price performance. So relax, Mad Monk, for now. Let's get upset when the time comes and not get upset ahead of time.
So table has not been flipped
I'm not going to
yet.
flip the table until I see that 4060 or 5070 and 5060, and then I'll flip a table like I did this time with the 4060, which I don't like. I don't like the 4060 or the 4060 Ti, but that's me.
Yeah, I mean, where do we go with this one? I mean, first of all, Nvidia is in danger of being complacent, you could say,
Yeah.
because there is no competition. There is the threat there that they are going to leverage that market position to produce progressively less value for the consumer. Right, that is the fear. Historically, I mean, we do have these generations that don't provide huge generational leaps in performance, and it's not a million years ago that we saw this. If you go back to the Turing cards, the first generation RTX, basically they invested in features, right? Features which at the beginning at least weren't paying off. So you got an RTX 2080 that wasn't that much faster than a 1080 Ti for the same price.
Right.
And you're kind of seeing the same thing now with the 40 series, right? With particularly the 4060 Ti and whatnot, where there isn't that groundswell of support for DLSS 3 yet. So people are quite rightfully saying, well, this isn't particularly great compared to the cards that are already out. Now, the question is whether that complacency will set in because there's no competition, and that's going to be the key point. We just have to wait and see, really. We just don't know at the moment. I guess the other thing to bear in mind is that they aren't going to be complacent in terms of software, in terms of features, because they've got all of those people in place now. They're doing the work. They're producing some pretty interesting stuff. That is going to continue. In terms of this concept of, oh well, we can make more AI products, and yeah, we can throw the game market away. They're making billions of dollars profit from the game market. They own,
Mm.
approximately 80% of that market. They're not going to throw that away overnight. Um, and certainly in terms of the AI side of things, this has kind of been quite interesting because the AI side of things has had benefits for both the enterprise and the gaming markets, right? DLSS 2, DLSS 3, we've seen the demos of the interactive NPCs. Jury's out on that one. But yeah, there's still innovation there, right? It's not as if the rot has set in. There's just been some really bad pricing and memory issues with the 4000 line, and we're at this sort of transition point in gaming where bad calls were made on the memory side of things. 4060 Ti, the concept that it does regress in performance in some elements compared to 3060 Ti is not great. But I think more to the point is the issue that it should have been a 16 gig card straight from the off, right? That's far
Yeah.
more pertinent. The regressions in performance seen on the 3060 Ti are kind of like edge case scenarios. However, when games are coming along like Diablo 4 that need more memory for some reason, you kind of want that memory to be there. But yeah, I guess wait and see on that front. I don't see it being the same. I don't see it being panic stations just yet, but it's all going to be about the products that come out, right?
Yeah.
So all I've really got to say about that one.